What's up, everybody? Screenings coming up April 14th. It's the big Los Angeles screening show, screening, and Q&A. I'm going to be there. Graham Elwood, Eddie Pepitone, Anastasia Washington, Sarah K. Godot, Andrew Saxon, members of the cast, members of the crew. We're going to do a short stand-up show, a screening of the film Left at Wall, and a Q&A after. Don't wait, Los Angeles. Get your tickets now, ronplacone.com. June 8th, Idlewild, California. We're going up to the mountains, a show, screening, and Q&A. Tickets and all information at ronplacone.com. Episode 28, Francesco Il Mercante. Francesco is a musician and a busker who has performed all over the world. He's built a one-man band ensemble that allows him to do percussion and play guitar and at times harmonica simultaneously. The entire thing is mobile, and he can carry it in a backpack. Due to his unique talent, he's gone viral on YouTube multiple times. His version of Bitter Sweet Symphony, I prefer over the original. Also, I've mentioned in the past that I have two favorite versions of the anti-fascist song Bella Ciao. One is by Jess Silk, episode 8, and the other is by Francesco. His cover of Bella Ciao is how I found him. We talk about it. Please welcome to the show, Francesco Il Mercante. Francesco Mercante, such an honor. Thanks so much for being here. It's awesome to talk to you. So good to meet you.
Thanks so much, Ron. It's a pleasure. It's a big pleasure.
So let's start at the beginning. You are an incredible musician. I've seen some of your viral videos, which is why I reached out to you. But we'll start just at the beginning. What got you into music?
Like it was not just music before. Like it was art in general. It was I was passionate from theater, from circus, but music it was a big part of my life, and I mixed everything in what I do now. Like it's in performing art, circus, and puppets, all in what I do.
Oh, you do puppets too?
Yeah,
I never saw any. I like to think I've seen a good amount of your videos. I've never seen any of that.
There's some puppets sometimes. I get a turkey, and when I were in California, it was so fun because it was my first time that I saw wild turkey in the street.
Really?
And I was so happy. Yeah, it was. It was so scaring, but I was so happy. Real turkey, and a little to dance.
So I know, and I should know more about this, but I know that puppets and puppet theaters have a very rich history in Italy. Could you go into that a little bit?
Like I'm not all inside the puppet Italian history. Like my puppets are Irish in reality.
Okay.
It's an old kind of percussion in which the puppets dance, and with the dance of the puppets, he dances on some wood. And when he dances, he makes percussion, and they use these puppets as percussion in Irish jig and Irish music.
Wow! So you're very worldly then in your repertoire. Like you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And literally all over the place. You travel all over the world, or to many parts of the world at least.
Yeah, I'm so lucky in this moment. Yeah, I'm so lucky because I live in west side of France, and I travel all around depending by where the people call me to play.
So you grew up in Milan?
Exactly, like close to Milan. Yeah.
So did you have formal training? Like did you study music and theater, or were you all just self-taught, or unpack some of that for me?
But before I studied theater before. And like when I started working, I started pay music lesson, and I studied theater before in Milan, and after I moved to Paris, and I studied there theater, because there it was there's certain school in Paris. It's not just theater, but there's performing art, theater, music, martial arts, and dance, all in the same school. And it was so interesting to me doing something like that.
Mm-hmm. So what led you to then, and I'm sure there's many layers to this, but what led you to what you do now? So I was thinking in English, and I know I mean, you speak fluent English, so you know this, but
Yeah.
we would say busker is, the kind of appropriate term.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will say street musician, but depending on the person who says that, that could have a negative implication. So if you want to use like the most appropriate term, you would say busker. Like what you do, you are a busker. And so what led you to that? Like what got you into that?
I think it was love for people, love for music, love for travel. And I put everything together, and it was busking, just traveling and having freedom, traveling free, and like having the opportunity to meet a lot of people in a lot of different places. Because like when you go in a place like for holiday, like you go Tokyo to holiday in Tokyo, you don't know nobody. Like it could be nice, like you see a lot of nice stuff, but if you go basking in Tokyo, in 30 minutes you can have like knowing people, like people who appreciate you, and exchange a lot with these people.
Yeah. Well, so where did you start? Like when was your first performance?
It was in the marketplace here in the north of Italy.
Yeah.
I went with it, like I built a bag, a percussion bag, and I moved with my guitar, with my harmonica in the market, playing and singing and performing in this way.
And was there ever a moment, because I've never busked before, like it's not something I also do not have anywhere close to the music talent that you do, but but I've never done that before. I do a show that I often do in Renaissance fairs. It's a historic interpretation of Lucian, the satirist, if you're familiar with his work. So I do that, and the first time I did it, it was an entirely different animal for me because I wasn't in a nightclub or something like that. I was just out there, and my stage was the outdoors and the elements, and I was just, you kind of call it like community theater in the purest sense. You're literally out there in the community, and you need to make that into a performance space. And it was a lot of fun, but for the first couple performances, it was a little overwhelming. Did you ever have that? Like, did you ever have that moment where you were just, oh man, I'm not on a stage per se. Like I'm just out there amidst the people. And is anyone paying attention to me? Like, did you ever have that moment, or did it just click for you right away?
What did it mean overwhelming?
Oh, overwhelming, like oh, gee, how would I describe
In Italian,
in Italiano, troppo cose. Ah, mio Dio, troppo persone, troppo sono a fiori e non a teatro.
Thank you. When you talk with the end, it's easier for me to understand. Okay. No, I understand. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of stuff to manage when you have not a stage and organized place. Like you have to manage like where people, where do you put yourself, and there's a lot of to think about. But it's so exciting as well. And so these little, I don't know what will happen. I don't know, like if there will be 3 people or 100 people. So it will give you a little spice in your pasta.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say, I mean, I've seen a good amount of your videos. I clearly haven't seen all of them, but in every video I've ever seen, aside from the content just being outstanding because you're fantastic at what you do, but even aside from that, it's obvious you're having fun up there.
Yeah.
It's just very obvious that you are having a really fun time, and that is the way we would say it in English. Like that's infectious. That's like infectious in a good way. Like people feel your good time, and that helps them really have a good time. Like I really want to see you live sometime. And I know that'll happen. I don't know when, but that'll definitely happen at some point. Maybe it'll happen before this episode even airs. I kind of doubt it. I don't think I'll be out that way anytime real soon. But yeah, I look forward to the day I get to catch you doing your thing in person.
I really hope that. Like, I was in San Diego a few months ago, and I hope to come back soon because I love far west. It's just amazing.
You know, usually the weather's great, but as of the recording of this, we're actually getting some storms in the area. So now would not be, if I showed you my deck, it would not have a pretty view like it usually does. You would just see a lot of rain and wet and stuff like that. But we need it, so I guess it's okay. Well, what is your favorite country to play?
It's a good question. I think each country is different. Each country is so different. Like just in Europe and in America, that's a big difference. Like in America, if you want to busk in the street, like, it's so hard because you have to find it, but there's nice square where people passing, but everything is huge, it's so big, so it's harder finding a place to play. Maybe in the big town, but in Europe, the nice stuff is like you can find nice little town in which people don't have the habit to see a street artist on a Sunday morning, and you are there. But it's so each country is so different. I think like one big difference, for example, we're talking about Italy. Like in Italy, I think than in France or another place. In Italy, people want to sing, and in other places they want to hear maybe. And it's so fun because like when I'm in Italy, I know that, and like I enjoy to make people sing and enjoy in this way. Yeah, it's a different kind of participation.
I love that. Well, I hope I hope I get to see you anywhere, but I hope especially I get to see you in Italy. I want to see you do your thing on the home turf, so to speak.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the mechanical aspect of it. You have a box where you do your percussion with your feet. You play guitar, you play harmonica. And then somehow you also have a camera set up. Like, so how does that, does somebody help you when they're filming your stuff, or do you do all of that yourself?
There's one dear friend of mine.
Okay.
Like for the first time, I'm not so good in social communication. Like, no, I'm good in social communication, but not online. Like I prefer directly the social community, but online, like the first time there's a dear friend of mine in France. It's called Michel Daillot, who first time I asked, oh, can you make me a video? He's has amazing eyes. Yeah. And he has taken this first video in a nice square in west side of France. And after, like, I don't know how, but this video came viral. And the other,
you've had a few viral videos. So for a guy who's not good at social media, you're doing something right, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know how, really. I mean, it's crazy. But this Michelle helped me a lot. And like we did just a phone sometimes, and just having a good eye, a good perspective, and the good people face of me. I'm so lucky for that. Like I've always very, very nice people. I met a lot of nice people.
So does Michel, do they travel with you?
No. It's sometimes, but he's 70 years old. And wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he don't travel with me, but like sometimes they say, oh, I'm here for a concert. Do you want to come? Or like for other videos, it was just like people who was filming myself. I got another friend here, is Leonardo, his name, Leonardo Rullo. He helped me, but it's more like when there's a video, like my Bitter Sweet Symphony video, he's him who have done that. Okay. Like with a very low budget, but a very good result. Good.
That's so amazing. I mean, especially like the Michelle, like I was picturing, because there's some amazing angles on that video. They do like a lot of great pans and stuff like that. I would have expected some savvy like 25-year-old or something. You're like, oh yeah, no, he's 70 years old, and he just, I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's
great. He's amazing. He has a problem in his hand. He don't move very well, but like for his eyes, he is able to catch the good moment. But not just for me. Like he takes a lot of artists in this way when he met someone, and that's always an amazing videos and amazing pictures who born.
How many languages do you speak then?
very very bad, not so good English like in this moment.
No, you're very good at English. You have very, I hope someday my Italian is as good as your English.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But no, I live in France, so the French is good, Italian it's fine, Spanish is like Italian, so is really similar, and English that's like what you hear.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. So one time, I've told this story on a few occasions. I was I live near the beach in the Los Angeles area, and so I go for a walk there most days. Not today because of the rain, but one day it was kind of earlier in the morning, and I was just walking along the beach, and this guy said, like, I think he just said it's a nice day or something like that, but he said it in Spanish. And I didn't even notice that he was just speaking Spanish to me. And I just instinctually responded to him in Italian. And we both understood each other. Like, I wouldn't have been able to respond to him in Spanish, but I understood what he said. And then I responded to him in Italian, and he understood what I said. And I don't know if it dawned on either one of us, where he's just like, oh, I was just speaking Spanish to that guy, and he responded to me. I think he responded in Italian, but I understood what he
crazy. Said. That's surprising. I really don't understand Italian people who study Spanish. It's so useless. It's the same language. No, it is not the same language. I understand Spanish. I am not able to talk Spanish.
Yeah, well, that's the same. I mean, here in Southern California, you will hear a lot more Spanish than Italian. So I will hear, Spanish, and I do understand a fair amount of it. I speak a tiny bit, but Italian is where I study and I try to get better at it. My family tells me I'm improving every time we talk. I don't know if they're just being polite, but. So I want to talk about, the video that I first saw of yours that made me want to reach out to you. And it was your version of Bella Ciao.
Yeah.
Which is a song that I've known about for a long time, but a song that I've reconnected with more in recent years. And it is one of my favorite songs. And it's a song that, and we've never talked about this yet. So, we're going to take this dive together. But when I watch you sing and play that song, I feel like, oh, this is a guy who knows what that song really means. Capisci?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that so what's your take on that song? Like,
I think it's talking about freedom. Right. I read a lot about this song after, because in Italy it's so delicate. Well, we have taken a fine because of this song of 600 euros playing this song here in Italy, in Gallarate. It's a small place, and will not come back there no more. It's so hard sometimes for this song, but like its song is an anti-fascist song, because like the Duce, so the dictator Mussolini, when he died, he was killed by the people. Mm-hmm. All the people was singing this song until they were killing this dictator. But there was not just communists there. There was sovereignist, communist, partisan, like also right people from right politics. And now in Italy, just they have put this song like is a left politics song. I think I don't want to do politics. I just want to singing about freedom and share this feeling with people. But they taken this one and they put it in on like it's a left song, anti-right song, but it's not an anti-right song. It's an anti-fascist song. But fascism is illegal, so it's nothing. It's nothing extreme as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, my personal politics are very left wing. Like I'm a very left wing guy. But yeah. I do feel like, no, this song is for everybody. And yes, it is an anti-fascist song, absolutely. And I think that history should be embraced. But, this is a song about freedom, and this is a song about liberty, and this is a song about, standing up for regular people. And so, yeah, this song is not limited to a political party or like this is for everyone. Exactly. And unless you're a fascist, in which case, sorry, you're not welcome.
Yeah, but in any case, and it's what I want to say. Like, it's so hard for me talking about specific thing in English. But
no, I totally understand. You're doing an excellent job. Yeah. I know. I'm asking you to express a fairly complex idea in a language that is not your first language. Yeah. So you're doing very, very good. And don't worry, nobody is going to judge you unfairly or anything like that.
It's just about freedom. This is the most important thing. It's about the moment of freedom, because when you're fighting for freedom, it's important. And I do that every day when I go in the street and I sing my freedom because I want to be free. And when police come and give me the fine, or like people are this hard sometimes, but like I need that, and everyone needs this freedom. And for me, it's music, and it's traveling, and it's busking.
So, have you gotten in trouble in the past? Like, is that a common thing? How common is that?
Now that's better. Sometimes it depends. Like I've taken this bad fine in just after COVID, when I didn't have money, and I went to the street with my friend Giuseppe, and the police gently came during Bella Ciao, and they
during that song of all songs.
No, just that song. It was last song that there were police just behind, and they were activated themselves during this song. And they gave us a fine, and my lawyer said that it was political. I was in the bad place to do this song.
So but wait, they gave you the fine because of the song, or just because you were busking?
Yeah, officially because I were busking, but I were busking from half an hour, and this was the last song. And normally when you're busking, like, police are so kind normally in Italy. Like, we're so kind. Now I don't know now. But
that is not the case here in the United States, my friend. Be careful here.
Yeah. I busk in the US, in California, in North California, in South California a little bit, but like I had no problem, luckily, with the police. But I know that maybe when you have one problem there, you don't want to have another problem.
Sure.
Yeah. Here it's fine. Like, the police are so kind in Italy normally, and everywhere in the world normally. They see you for the first time, they say, like, you cannot do that here, and you say, oh, I'm sorry, and nobody say nothing. But sometimes you could find people like that, like people like these guys who say so hi us for first time, and they gave us a fine and so arrogant way, and we are normally always kind, like we are in wrong, and so, like, if we bother someone, we don't do that to bother people.
Yeah. So wait, where? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Where did you get a fine?
Where?
You said that they gave you a fine. They were very arrogant about it. Where did that happen?
In Gallarate.
And where? I'm sorry.
In Gallarate. It's a small town near Milan.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were talking about a different country. I kind of okay.
No, it was in Italy.
Oh, so that happened right near your home.
Yeah, 30 kilometers from here.
Oh, gee. So it's like
yeah. That was so like. But now almost I have a story to tell.
Sure.
So expensive story, but a story to tell.
Well, where is your favorite place to busk in Italy? I mean, I know like countries are so different, but like in Italy, like where's your favorite spot?
I think the most kind people are like not everyone in the south. I found like the most kind people in Puglia in the south east.
Yeah.
You know this place?
A little bit. I mean, I've been to. I don't know if I've ever been directly there, but I've been around there. And I just have heard. I mean that area is just so celebrated, especially here in the United States.
Yeah.
Like when someone says Puglia, you just kind of think paradise.
Yeah.
And I know it's not paradise. There's no such thing. But And have you ever gone to Ostuni?
Ostuni, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. But all of this part of Italy, but all of Italy is all of the world. It's amazing. Like this part is so particular. I found I've been to Lecce, the deep south, and I found there the most kind people of the world. I think I don't know if there's statistics or a rank, but there I found the most nice people of the world, most kind people of the world.
The only thing for me, because I have family, most of my family is either in Bologna, Firenze, or Cicciano, vicino di Napoli.
Yeah.
And when I go to the south, my only problem is that I do not understand as well.
Yeah.
Because of the dialect, I have a much harder time speaking in the south.
It's not like Spanish. It's so different again. No, it's another language. It's not another language, but it's so different. Like from one place to another, the way to talk, and also the expression, the way to appreciate people. That's so different, but it's so nice as well. Like in the south, it's like Naples. It's like an open space theater. That's crazy. Like you go in the street, if you understand something of what people say, you can find a lot of fun there because like you go in a bar and you find a story and everyone talk with everyone, and at a certain moment someone talk to you like to insert you in the conversation. That's so fun. It could be so fun.
So how did you get to the point where, I mean, you said that the first time you ever did it, it was right near Milan where you're from.
Yeah.
So where did you go next? Like what happened? Like you did it for the first time. You're like, I'm feeling this. I like this. Where did you go next? And then after you went somewhere next, when did you get to the point where you decided this is my gig? This is what I do. This is my job.
Yeah. It was always my dream, and I always worked for that, like strongly, because it was so hard. Like in Italy, it's not like in France or in Germany that you have gigs and people pay you. Like it's harder finding gigs here in Italy. I think for me it was harder. And when I came to France or to Germany or to Belgium, it was easier. But I started in Milan, and after I start to do a little network. And after I make a circus company in Bergamo with any dear friend of mine, and with them we start to go like from Milan to Venezia, to in the other big town, and after the small town, and after I moved to Paris, and there I was trying to make my network grow up. And after I go to the west, to the north of France. And in this way.
Mi piace Bergamo molto.
Bergamo è bellissima.
Sì, molto bellissima. E hanno un aeroporto economico a Bergamo.
Sì, bravo.
Molto, sì, mi ricordo. Yeah.
Sì.
Sono andato a francese di Bergamo a Parigi.
Ah, bello, sì.
Molto anni fa, ma mi piace molto.
Bergamo è bellissima. It's so funny town. No, that's amazing. Like that's the high town.
Sì.
It's beautiful.
Un grande campagna è solo un ristorante e molto persone parlato di tutti e mi piace molto.
Sì. No, that's nice. And I think when you're an outsider, a tourist, like Italian people could be so nice. Like it could help you. I don't know what you think about that.
Oh, I mean, I've been to Italy probably, I guess it's been like 4 or 5 times now. And yeah, I mean, this past time, for the first time, and I think part of it was the way I was dressed, but someone mistook me for a local.
Really?
And I think I was wearing a soccer jersey, una maglietta di calcio. That was a soccer jersey from my cousin, from my Italian cousin. So it was his jersey from when he was a kid. So they thought, and I guess my pronunciation was good enough that I fooled them, and they thought I was a local. So that was a very flattering moment for me. But then they spoke so fast, I couldn't understand anything. So I felt really good, but then I had to, tell like Soto Americano, like I had to, and then they spoke much slower and I understood. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, everybody, I mean, I feel like my perception is a bit skewed because usually when I'm there, I'm with my family or I see my family. And so like a lot of my interactions are also via them. But yeah, even in general, yeah, the Italian people are very, very nice. And if you make the effort to speak the language, it is very much appreciated. Which I think is really cool. And especially for someone like me, I try to speak the language. I will prefer to speak Italian because I'm trying to get better at it. Okay. And people have always been very patient with that. They've always been, even if it would be easier for them to just speak in English with me, they'll speak in Italian to try, because they're like, this guy's trying to get better at our language, and we appreciate that, and we want to help him. And yeah, I really appreciate that. And I'd imagine all cultures are kind of like that, but yeah, I've definitely had that experience, and it's always been a very positive one. Every time I go to Italy, I have a very, very hard time leaving. I have a very hard time leaving.
No, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you have coming up? Like what's on your agenda for 2024? Like how far in advance do you plan where you're going to go, or is it just kind of spur of the moment?
No, I plan, like now people call me with 8 months in advance for the big festival. Okay. And after, like when I know, for example, I should go, it's not sure, but I maybe should go in Serbia.
Yeah, Serbia. In
the east, and in Prague, in west side of Germany, in east side of Germany. Like, and I know that with a lot of advance. And after that, I have big festival. I try to look other places in which I could play, and I start sending a lot of email for that. But this year, I'm not a lot like sending email because I'm working on a new project, like for a band. To propose something different for big festivals. And so doing my one-man band by myself, and like when I will come back to Canada, or like for the 2025, I will propose my band, my full band in festivals.
So when you do festivals, what kind of festivals do you do? Do you do fringe festivals, or are there like festivals for busking? Like I might not be hip to this.
It depends. Like a music festival mostly, or like when I'm I was in Montreal. These 2 years I went to Montreal. These years and the years before. And this year I made one Italian music festival in the center of Montreal, or like other world music festival. A lot of world music festival, or busker festival as well. When I have a lot of different format of show, and when I move, I try to check mostly busker festival, world music, and Italian stuff.
That is so cool. I mean, there's probably just so many amazing cultural events that I'm just probably not even aware of, and I'd like to think I follow it pretty closely. I mean, I try to do fringe festivals and stuff like that as a comedian. So, but that's just really cool. Yeah, have you ever done a fringe fest?
What is a French fest?
Fringe, FRI, fringe. Yeah.
I never do that. But what it mean, like a fringe festival? I know that there's one big fringe festival in Scotland.
Yes.
Scotland.
Oh, you should do it. It's a I did it for the first time last year. It's really, really fun. It's not as music centric of a festival, but you could go there and you could. I mean, although they're pretty strict with everything, so I don't know what their rules are around busking, but you can definitely. I mean, people bust there. It definitely happens a lot, and yeah, you would have a ball there. It is so much fun.
I have to check. I have some friends who do that. But I have to check. But for next year, like this year, I think I will just do a few festivals and I will prepare my new show for next year and a new album.
Yeah, well, I might be doing the Edinburgh Fringe again next year as well. So maybe we'll maybe that's where we'll cross paths, if not before. Because I said I will probably be doing Edinburgh again next year as well. Not this year, but in 2025.
Wow,
I'll probably be. Yeah, maybe we'll meet then. That'd be great. Yeah. I'd love that. Well, go ahead in closing here. Go ahead and plug or promote anything you would want to promote. Where can people find you online? Where can they get into what you're doing? And is there anything you got coming up that you'd like to mention specifically?
Yeah, like if you write Francesco Il Mercante on Google, you will find my website, my YouTube, my Spotify, my phone number, where I live, the picture of my holidays, everything about me.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything you want to mention that we didn't get to?
I don't know. Like we talked about freedom. We talked about music, busking, traveling, and I think the most important thing that I want to say when I perform, not verbally say, but like when I want to share, is freedom. And follow your passion is the most important thing for me.
That is very, very beautiful. Yeah, thank you. And I'm really glad we were able to connect. I didn't know if I'd be able to find you or get a hold of you or if you like did podcast. Like I didn't really know. So I'm really glad we were able to connect.
Me too. It was so nice to you to call me and to ask me that. I'm so happy to be in California again without being there.
Right. Yes. Well, come back for real though. Come to Los Angeles. I'll show you around.
Yeah.
All right. That was Francesco Il Mercante. Check out his stuff. Just go to YouTube. YouTube his name. His videos are absolutely incredible. You're going to love it. And I guess every 20 episodes we talk about Bella Ciao. That's going to be a new tradition here at 1000. Music for the 1000 podcast is provided by Andrew Saxena. Be sure to check out his podcast, the Baywatching Podcast, wherever you get your podcast. I said podcast way too many times in that sentence. Leave us a 5-star review, would you? This is still a very, very new show. And we have many, many episodes and years to go to get to that 1,000 mark. So please leave a 5-star review. It really helps out. And if you'd like to support this show on the sustainability end, you can do so over at patreon.com/romplacone. For a Give What You Can level, you get access to all kinds of screenings of my movie and other projects. You get full stand-up clips not available anywhere else. Drew and I do a bonus podcast, all kinds of cool stuff. And that's for as low as $1 a month. It's a Give What You Can level. Any amount goes a long way, and it's a really fun community. Patreon.com/romplacone. All right. Going into a little bit of a music edge here. We're go leaning into a little bit of music. A combination of things. Wonderful political protest songs, Italy, music, all kinds of things I love in one episode. How about that? Again, Francesco Il Mercante. Check him out. And we will see you next week. Hey guys, Ron Placone here. Take your own 1,000 challenge. No, you don't need to interview 1,000 people, although if you want to do that, go for it. Your 1,000 challenge can be whatever you want. Maybe you want to call a friend out of the blue once a week. Maybe you want to read a book every month. Maybe you want to start a different garden every season. I guess that might be dependent on where you live. Look, the point of the challenge is taking on an endeavor that enriches your life in some way, and it can be measured. And then, of course, you do it regularly. That's what 1,000 is doing for me, and hopefully for you too. The main reason for this podcast and every podcast I've ever done is to build community. So take your own challenge. Then join our Facebook group. It's called 1,000 What's Your Challenge? ? That's 1,000 What's Your Challenge ? And post about what your 1,000 challenge is and the progress you're making. All I ask is that people be encouraging of each other's challenges. This is personal and vulnerable, so be cool. There's enough negativity on social media. We don't need to add to it. For those of you who aren't on Facebook, hopefully in the future we'll be expanding to places like Discord, Reddit, but for now, we're starting on Facebook. And again, that Facebook group is called 1,000 What's Your Challenge? See you there.